Okay, let's unpack this. What if the true value of a home isn't just in its square footage or, the comps down the street? What if it's really about the feeling it creates? You know that feeling, right?
Yeah.
When you walk into a place and it just clicks. That sense of, this is it, before you've even looked at the numbers. It's almost like the home is speaking directly to your aspirations.
Precisely. Yeah, that's exactly what we're diving into today. How to make any home, really, regardless of its sticker price, feel like a premium luxury listing. We're going to be drawing on some insights from a luxury real estate expert's playbook and a really fascinating look at transforming how people perceive a home. It's about more than just what the house is on paper. It's about the story it tells, the emotions it kicks up.
Right. So our mission for you today is to unlock those secrets, how to create that premium feel and really get a handle on the psychology of buyer perception. We want you to be able to use this stuff, whether you're selling, buying, or maybe just appreciate great design. You'll walk away with some tactical tips, some strategic ways to see properties through a whole new lens. You'll be armed, basically. So let's kick off with a core idea from our sources. Let's be real. No one's buying your pool. They're buying how that pool makes them feel. That hits hard, doesn't it? It immediately flips the script. It tells us value isn't just objective specs. It's tangled up with emotion, with presentation. But how do you actually quantify that experience, especially for buyers who might be really data focused?
That's a really crucial distinction. Look, some homes are $5 million based on metrics, location, size, whatever, but others just feel like $5 million. And that feeling, that's all about buyer perception. And that perception is what gets you the premium offers. Think about it like this. You walk into a place, maybe there's soft music playing, it smells amazing like eucalyptus or something subtle and wealthy. The lighting is perfect, the lines are clean, you're kind of swept away, or you're basically sold on the vibe before you even check out the kitchen properly. The goal is to craft that undeniable emotional pull, not just hand over a spec sheet.
Yeah, I can totally picture that. That curated experience, it just instantly elevates how much you think it's worth. It's pretty incredible how much our feelings can steer such a huge financial decision. Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we give a home that premium touch without, tearing down walls or spending a fortune? Our sources talk about this as a facelift, not a renovation, which I love. The idea is you don't need to drop 50 grand to make it feel like $1 million or 5 million. You just need the right perception strategy.
Exactly. It's all about strategic impact, not necessarily massive spending. So we've got 5 tactical ways to upgrade perception almost instantly. First one, declutter like you are moving out tomorrow. Seriously, every single extra thing makes the space feel smaller, feel more chaotic. Think about, the wine rack, the blender on the counter, the pile of throw blankets. Gone. The expert puts it simply. Clean equals calm, and calm sells.
That's so simple, but wow, incredibly powerful. I mean, I'm kind of looking around my own place right now thinking, yeah. But what is it about that calm feeling? Why is that so potent when someone's making this huge life choice, buying a home? And what's the biggest mistake people make when they try to declutter? Can you go too far, make it feel sterile?
That's a great question. Calm basically gives the buyer mental space. When they walk in, their brain is already working overtime, layout, light, potential future. If their eyes keep snagging on your personal stuff, clutter, it's just adding friction, mental noise. A calm, clear space lets them project their life onto it easily. The biggest mistake, stopping halfway. People remove the big stuff but leave the little personal things, fridge magnets, family photos, that stack of mail. It needs to be pretty ruthlessly depersonalized. It's not about sterile, though. It's about neutral. A blank canvas for their imagination, not yours. Okay, second tactic. Lighting is everything. If you want a place to look expensive, start with a light bulb. Get rid of that yellowy tinge. Install daylight-balanced LEDs everywhere. Add dimmers if you can. And strategically light things up. Artwork, corners, even mirrors. The source is really clear on this. Bad lighting makes luxury just vanish. Great lighting makes the value feel, inevitable. Highlights the good stuff. Makes it feel open, inviting.
That's one of those details people often miss, but it's so transformative, instantly brightens things up, makes it feel more modern, more intentional. Beyond just looking better, what's the sort of psychological effect of great lighting on a buyer? Does it subtly shift their mood or, their confidence in the place?
Oh, absolutely. Good lighting is an instant mood lifter. Think about seasonal affective disorder, right? Light affects us deeply. It reduces eye strain, makes colors pop, fights off any feeling of gloominess or being closed in. In real estate terms, it translates to transparency, optimism. A well-lit home feels healthier, safer, more welcoming. It subtly tells the buyer, this is a bright future. It kind of validates their potential investment without them even realizing it. All right, third tactic. Staging. For any kind of premium listing feel, this is pretty much non-negotiable. Even if you don't go for full staging, this idea of vignette staging is really key. Think like cozy little reading nooks, beautifully styled bookshelves with just a few cool objects, maybe some high-end looking textiles draped strategically in the bedroom or living room. The goal isn't lived in. It's curated, aspirational.
Right, so presenting a specific aspirational look, not just sticking furniture in a room, but telling a kind of story. But how do you make sure those vignettes feel, authentic to that house, not just like generic props that could maybe turn off a savvy buyer looking for real character?
Yeah, that's where the curated part really matters. It's about having a consistent aesthetic that actually fits the house's style, its location. So a modern downtown loft might get minimalist art, sleek metallic touches. A beach house would lean into natural textures, maybe a calm coastal color scheme. The trick is to subtly elevate, not to cover things up or pretend it's something it's not. A good stager works with the home's strengths, makes its best features sing without feeling fake. And these days, that story really starts online, doesn't it? Which brings us neatly to point 4, professional photos. And this is crucial twilight shots. Seriously, iPhone pics are for selling old furniture on Craigslist, not a premium property. You need those cinematic angles, wide lenses capturing space, crisp, natural light, and nothing says dream home like a house glowing warmly at sunset, those twilight shots. Pure magic. They create this undeniable allure.
First impressions count for so much. And yeah, those first impressions are almost always digital now. It feels like this isn't even an option anymore. It's just mandatory. How much more critical are these top-notch visuals in the luxury end of the market compared to, say, a more mid-range home?
Oh, in the luxury space, the difference is exponential. Buyers at that level expect a visual experience that matches the price tag, matches the quality of the home. High-end photos aren't just showing the house, they're signaling the seller's attention to detail, the overall caliber of the property. It implies, this place has been cared for, presented thoughtfully. It's a serious offering. It's basically the digital red carpet. Okay, finally, the 5th tactic. Add one unexpected luxury signal. This could be pretty subtle, but really impactful. Maybe it's a designer coffee table book left open, nice bottle of champagne on the counter with 2 glasses, and Hermes throw blanket draped just so, or a fancy branded candle. Maybe even the source mentioned a fake Dior box on the vanity. Sounds a bit cheeky, but these things don't sell the house. They sell the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that lifestyle, that's what people often pay a premium for.
Huh. That's a clever little psychological nudge tapping into those aspirational desires.
But again, how do you make sure those luxury signals feel right for the property? And not just like, obviously staged props. Is there a risk it looks try-hard or inauthentic? Absolutely, there's a fine line. The key is one unexpected signal, like the source says. Not like blast-string logos everywhere. It should be subtle, almost like an Easter egg for someone with a keen eye. It just reinforces the vibe without shouting it. It's about planting a little seed of aspiration. A Chanel book and a beautifully organized walk-in closet just fits. It feels right. It's subtle backup for the overall story, not some fantasy ad that feels forced.
And there's a really compelling story from the sources that drives this all home, isn't there? About a $2.15 million listing that was just stuck. It was described as sitting flat, good house, solid bones, but it had, quote, no soul.
That's the one. The expert basically told the seller, look, let me give this house a facelift, not a big renovation, just a reset. And they did exactly what we've been talking about. Spent about $3,200 on some staging accents, strategic decor, refreshed the lighting, new bulbs, dimmers, got a deep clean, managed the scent professionally, took new pro photos, including those twilight shots, and launched a fresh social media campaign with targeted video reels.
Okay, so after that pretty focused reset, what happened? What was the result of that actually quite modest investment?
The result was pretty dramatic. The house sold for $2.295 million. That's full asking price. And it sold in just 18 days. And the buyer's comment was so telling, it just felt like I was already home. That hits it right on the head, doesn't it? It goes straight back to the vibe, the emotion we started with. Shows the direct power of these perception upgrades.
Wow. Okay, that's a serious return on investment for just over $3,000. It really hammers home this idea of the premium feel. But while that's an amazing success story, do these facelift tactics ever not work? Or are there certain types of houses where no matter how good the perception strategy, a full-on renovation is just unavoidable?
Yeah, that's a really important qualifier. These strategies work best when the house itself has good bones, as they say, when it's fundamentally sound. They enhance what's already there. They don't magically fix deep-seated problems. If a home has major deferred maintenance, like a leaky roof or ancient plumbing, or a truly terrible layout that can't be easily tweaked, or, structural issues, then yeah, a renovation is probably needed. This perception approach is for polishing a solid gem, making it shine. It's not usually enough to rescue a property that's really distressed. It's about elevation, not resurrection.
Got it. Okay, so once you've got the home itself feeling premium, the next layer is the bigger picture. The strategy for actually marketing luxury properties. Like the expert says, you don't need a sign in the yard, you need strategy. This
Mhm.
isn't just selling four walls and a roof, it's selling a lifestyle, a brand, really, a feeling.
Exactly. And this is where, as the expert calls it, Marine Corps discipline comes in. There's a very methodical six-step process for positioning, presenting, and pushing these high-end listings to the right kind of buyers.
All right, Marine Corps discipline. I like the sound of that. Let's break down those 6 steps. What's the very first move?
It all starts with strategic buyer profiling. Before you do anything else, write a description, book a photographer, anything you pinpoint your ideal buyer. Who are they? Relocating execs from New York or London. International buyers, maybe from, say, Canada or Dubai. Are they driven by prestige, design, exclusivity? Or are they maybe investors focused purely on yield? Getting that profile right dictates literally every single action that follows.
Okay, I can definitely see how tailoring the message to that specific person changes the whole game. It's like using a laser instead of a floodlight. But are there pitfalls in profiling? Like, is there a risk of focusing too narrowly and maybe missing out on other potential buyers who don't quite fit the mold?
That's a fair point. But in the luxury sphere, precision usually wins out over sheer volume. The pool of potential buyers for a truly high-end property is often limited anyway. Scattergun marketing just dilutes the message, wastes resources, and can even make the property feel less exclusive, less special. The challenge, of course, is getting the profile right that takes good data, market insight. But when you nail it, your marketing becomes incredibly efficient. You attract buyers who are genuinely interested and, crucially, qualified. Okay, step 2 is a premium pricing strategy. Luxury homes just don't play by the same pricing rules as, standard suburban houses. It's not just price per square foot. This means a really deep dive. Analyzing the active luxury competition right now, figuring out the value of unique lifestyle upgrades the home offers, understanding potential appraisal gaps versus what drives emotional value, and really getting inside the head of a buyer at that specific price point. The goal is to build a compelling narrative around the price, justifying why it's worth it, and maybe even creating a little bit of perceived scarcity.
Right, so it's not just running the numbers, it's crafting that unique value story that goes beyond the spreadsheet. How much of that is art versus science? And what are the biggest dangers if you get the pricing wrong in the luxury market? Overprice or underprice?
It's definitely a blend. The science gives you the baseline, the comps, market velocity, appreciation trends. But the art is understanding those intangibles, the emotional triggers, the trophy factor, the specific niche appeal. The biggest risk, usually, is overpricing. Luxury buyers are incredibly well-informed. An overpriced property sits, it goes stale, it loses that exclusive shine. Then you end up chasing the market down with price cuts later, which hurts perception even more. Underpricing obviously leaves money on the table, but savvy luxury agents usually focus on maximizing that return, so it tends to be less common. Third step, cinematic presentation. You need to treat the home like it's the star of its own feature film. This means investing in high-end video walkthroughs, maybe with a smooth voiceover or evocative music. Drone shots are huge, especially if you've got waterfront, acreage, or cool architecture. Virtual twilight photos, we mentioned those. And this idea of lifestyle storytelling and the visuals showing the home being used and enjoyed, not just empty rooms, that's what sparks imagination and desire.
Makes total sense. Visuals hit us on such an emotional level they can really create that I want this feeling. But with all that high production value, the drone shots, the music, how do you keep it feeling genuine? How do you avoid making it seem overly slick or worse, misleading about the property?
Yeah, authenticity is key. It's about capturing the essence of the home, not manufacturing a fantasy. The video should highlight the flow, the natural light, the unique features people will actually experience, how the spaces connect. Music and voiceover should enhance the mood, support the visuals, not dominate them. Authenticity comes from skillful direction that lets the home's real strengths shine. Rather than relying on, flashy editing or effects, you're inviting them into a possible future in that home, not selling them a movie set. Okay, following that, step 4 is multi-channel luxury marketing. You cannot just list it on the MLS and hope for the best. Absolutely not. Instead, you launch targeted campaigns. This means getting it onto curated luxury platform sites like The Real Deal, Mansion Global, Jane's Edition. It involves digital ad campaigns that are geo-fenced, so you're specifically targeting ads to people physically located in affluent zip codes, both here and potentially abroad, plus strategic use of Instagram, YouTube Reels with catchy hooks. And importantly, direct outreach to a cultivated network, a luxury buyer Rolodex, and key broker contacts. This creates genuine presence, not just passive visibility.
Wow, that's some serious strategic firepower. It's all about precision targeting, getting it right in front of the exact right eyeballs, no matter where they are. Given that these campaigns sound pretty intensive, potentially expensive, what's the typical ROI look like? And how do you even track the effectiveness across all those different channels?
Well, the ROI, when it's done right, is usually excellent because you're attracting that highly qualified, often pre-vetted buyer who's actually ready to pull the trigger. It saves time, reduces friction. Effectiveness isn't just measured in raw clicks. You look at engagement rates. How long are people watching the videos? Are they clicking through? You track qualified inbound inquiries. And ultimately, it's about the quality and speed of the offers you receive. That geofencing, for instance, is super efficient. You're showing the ad to someone already in an area known to produce luxury buyers. Every marketing dollar works harder. Then step 5, which is used when appropriate, is a private access strategy. Sometimes the best play is what the source calls quiet confidence. For certain very exclusive or sensitive listings, this might mean requiring NDAs just for a preview. We're doing private showings only by appointment, or maybe only exposing it off-market initially, directly to known investment groups, relocation specialists, or top buyer agents. This builds exclusivity, prevents the property from getting overexposed or feeling stale if it doesn't sell immediately on the open market.
That's fascinating. It really plays into that desire for discretion and exclusivity that some high-end buyers have. But does that quiet confidence approach ever backfire? Does it risk shutting out potential buyers who prefer transparency, or maybe make people suspicious about why it's being kept so hush-hush?
It's definitely a strategy that needs careful thought. It's typically reserved for very specific situations, ultra-high-end properties, celebrity sellers needing privacy, that kind of thing. The risk of suspicion is managed by working through trusted channels with reputable agents who understand the protocol. And by being clear about the reason for the private access seller privacy, unique nature of the asset, etc., it's really about curating a very select pool of potential buyers, not trying to hide flaws. The goal is often to create buzz and a sense of first-look privilege, which can be a powerful motivator in itself. And finally, step 6, smart negotiation and closing. The mindset here isn't just reacting to offers as they come in, like playing ping pong. It's about actively shaping the offers. This means thoroughly pre-qualifying buyer interest before they even get to a serious showing stage. Structuring terms and timelines that work favorably for the seller, smoothing the path by having all the documents, disclosures, legal stuff ready to go up front, minimizing potential friction points, and providing really high-touch, concierge-level service from the moment an offer is accepted right through to handing over the keys. Like the expert says, this isn't guesswork. It's math, psychology, and negotiation timing.
That really brings it full circle, doesn't it? Reinforcing that idea of strategic expertise leading to a smoother, faster, and ultimately more profitable result for everyone. It's proactive, not reactive. What are some common mistakes sellers make during negotiation that this smart approach helps avoid?
Oh, a big one is getting emotional. Reacting defensively to a low offer, or getting bogged down in haggling over minor points that don't really matter in the grand scheme. This approach tries to head that off. By pre-qualifying buyers, you already know they're serious and capable. By having docs ready, you prevent those last-minute panics or delays that can kill a deal. And by really understanding the buyer's motivations and the seller's non-negotiables, you can structure deals that feel like a win for both sides. It's about keeping a calm, strategic head throughout that often stressful period.
Wow, what a deep dive that was. Okay, so we've covered the incredible leverage you get from managing perception, those practical steps anyone can take to boost a home's feel without breaking the bank. And then this really strategic, almost military-grade approach to marketing luxury properties that goes way beyond just sticking a sign out front. It really boils down to being smooth, being strategic, and making sure the property's value isn't just listed, but genuinely felt.
And it really does raise a fascinating final thought, doesn't it? If something as seemingly small as a well-placed candle or a perfectly timed twilight photo can genuinely impact perceived value and lead to a significantly better outcome, what other small details might we be overlooking? In our own lives, our businesses, things that could create that kind of unforgettable high-value impression. It makes you rethink what value even means. So remember the advice. Sell smart, think like a buyer, and never ever underestimate the power of a well-placed candle.